if you have a marketplace that you're trying to stand up, you're trying to get that initial kind of like product market fit. If you're getting that MVP off the ground, you really want to make sure you've got demand. Retailers that have e-commerce businesses, and now they're trying to open up supply, but they're opening up supply in a weird way, and not the hard way, the true way, which is to try to disrupt themselves. Jet.com, when they started, they'd list products that they didn't have. They didn't even have third-party sellers lined up for the products. They would literally go on Amazon, buy it on Amazon, and ship it to the customer. Sometimes it would show up in an Amazon box. We have some user questions. We had one question. Thank you for releasing such valuable insight through your book, Modern Monopolies. Well, you're welcome. I've since been listening to your podcast as I work on launching my own marketplace MVP. Recently, you've stated two different contradictory remarks regarding which side to fulfill first. In your platform hacks, fake it until you make it video, you state the platform should concentrate on getting demand first. Then you say different in the complementary marketplaces are a sham video that platforms should gather small fragmented suppliers first. Which is it? Okay. Thank you for bringing this up. So let me add some additional context in. Platform hacks, fake it until you make it is saying when you're trying to solve for demand. So for example, the short answer is it depends on the stage of the platform entity. And these videos were talking about platform opportunities somewhat at different stages. So let me explain. When you are early on, kind of like with your, assuming you have an early stage marketplace MVP startup business, I would say you'd probably want to focus more on demand and the former, right? Fake it until you make it. If you have a marketplace that you're trying to stand up, you're trying to get that initial kind of like product market fit. If you're getting that MVP off the ground, you really want to make sure you've got demand, right? I've got demand. People are using my marketplace. How you solve for supply, I care less about, right? Honestly, you could be a linear business with a plan to eventually kind of platformize your supply and use external supply. But you could be a linear business. For example, if you have service providers or if you're like Uber entering a market in their early days, they would actually contract out with cars and drivers in a linear way, technically put them on a contract or put them on their balance sheet just so that they would have supply. Then they get demand going. As demand is scaling, then they can open up supply and build supply from third parties. So that was my point there on the demand. I think I was also talking about Jet.com. When they started, they were selling, they'd list products that they didn't have. They didn't even have third-party sellers lined up for the products. They would literally go on Amazon, buy it on Amazon, and ship it to the customer. Sometimes it would show up in an Amazon box. Yep. So Jet.com, Mark and the team there, they certainly understand faking it till they make it. And oh boy, did they make it. The other part of this, complementary marketplaces, typically the complementary marketplaces that I was critiquing, those are a lot of e-commerce companies. They are a lot of retailers that have e-commerce businesses that are linear, and they are now launching complementary marketplaces. So they already have a lot of demand. They already have a lot of customers. And now they're trying to open up supply. But they're opening up supply in a weird way, and not doing it in the hard way, the true way, which is to try to disrupt themselves. It's the innovator's dilemma. So if I'm a retailer or if I'm an e-commerce company and I sell products, Bed Bath & Beyond or Pier 91, or pick a retailer that's closing half their stores. Oh, that's right. It's like every retailer. So they are saying, well, I don't want to sell Bed Bath products from other third-party sellers because that's what I sell. So I'm going to go sell complementary products. The problem there is it actually goes back to the demand point. Bed Bath & Beyond, if they want to try and sell TVs or electronics, they don't have as much demand for those products as they do bed and home furnishing, home good type of products, because that's what a customer is coming to them for. So they're going to have a lot more demand for their core business's product spectrum, and they should focus on opening that part of their business up first, because that is where they're going to have more demand, which is going to interest sellers more. And these retailers are so far behind from where Amazon is at this point, you can't play any games. If this was like 10 years ago, you could dip your toe into the water. I could kind of like fail fast and like learn on complementary products. There's no time for that anymore. That ship has sailed. Amazon's 26 years into their business, founded in 94. You've got to jump whole hog into the marketplace if you're ever going to have any hope of being successful in marketplace as a retailer in any part of the globe, maybe save like Africa or some like emerging markets or something. But if you're in the US and Europe, certainly in Asia, if you are a retailer trying to get into marketplaces, complementary marketplaces, it's not going to be the way to get there. You got to disrupt the core. And that means opening up supply, letting competitors list products on your site that is competing with your internal buyers. Now, your internal buyers might be buying stuff that's going to sit on your balance sheet for even longer. And Wall Street is going to kill you for that, by the way. I'm not saying that this is easy, but if you want to at least give it a true shot as a retailer that already has a good amount of demand, focus on your strengths, and you have a strength and demand, then try and get supply. Then once you get an initial foothold in supply, now you could start to open up to other complementary marketplace, complementary product spectrums. But you're just not going to have enough demand in a complementary product catalog to get enough suppliers. And I mean hundreds of thousands of suppliers. I mean millions of SKUs. A lot of these complementary marketplaces is like, great, we got 100,000 SKUs. That's a stock keeping unit, 100,000 products. It's not enough. As we saw with Doug McMillon and Walmart, they added 10 million SKUs in 9 months. 9 months. 9.5 million of those SKUs came from third-party sellers. Only 500,000 SKUs came from their internal buyers buying additional products and then reselling those on Walmart.com. Great question, though, and thanks for trying to parse through my mixed messages. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.